Hello, guys. Welcome back to Faith Movies. Today's movie recap will be a romance and musical movie from 2020 called I Still Believe. Warning, there are spoilers ahead. The movie starts in 1999 in Lafayette, Indiana. A young man named Jeremy Camp is preparing for a big change as he prepares to attend college in California. Before leaving, he bids farewell to his younger brothers, Jared and Josh, the latter of whom has special needs. As Jeremy's parents, Tom and Terry, drop him off at the bus, Tom gives him a new guitar as a going-away present, showing his love and support. When Jeremy arrives at college, he sneaks backstage at a music venue to meet his idol, Jean-Luc, the lead singer of the popular Christian rock band The Cry. Impressed by Jeremy's enthusiasm and resolve, Jean-Luc gives him a chance to help out with the crew and work behind the scenes. At the concert, Jeremy notices a beautiful young woman named Melissa Henning singing along in the audience. He takes this chance to introduce himself. Encouraged by Jean-Luc, Jeremy begins to chase his dream of music and starts writing his own songs. He gathers the courage to ask Melissa out, and she invites him to a bonfire with her friends, including Jean-Luc. At the bonfire, Melissa asks Jeremy to play his guitar and sing, which he does hesitantly. Melissa joins him in singing. After the bonfire, Jeremy starts to wonder about Melissa's relationship with Jean-Luc. He asks her if they are more than just friends. Melissa tells him that she sees Jean-Luc only as a friend, although she suspects Jean-Luc might have developed feelings for her. At one of Jean-Luc's concerts, Jean-Luc surprises Jeremy by inviting him on stage to perform one of his songs. Jeremy's performance is well received, earning him significant recognition. However, when Jeremy urges Melissa to go on a date with him, she explains that she made a promise to God to stay focused and she doesn't want to upset Jean-Luc. Jeremy suggests that perhaps their meeting was part of God's plan and asks her to think about it. The next day, Melissa agrees to go on a date with Jeremy. Their first date is at a museum where they attend a presentation about stars, and Melissa shares her belief that God created the stars and has a plan for her life. Despite her initial desire to keep their relationship quiet, Melissa gets excited about Jeremy and calls her sister to share the news. From then on, they spend all their time together. Jean-Luc later tells Jeremy that he has arranged a recording session for him and will give Jeremy some extra time to record his own music. However, things get complicated when Jean-Luc asks Melissa out, making her feel guilty about her secret relationship with Jeremy. The situation becomes even more strained when Jeremy's family visits and finds out about Melissa. Despite the tension, Jeremy continues to record in the studio and performs a heartfelt love song for Melissa, confessing his love and kissing her. Unfortunately, Jean-Luc walks in during this intimate moment, causing distress and leading Melissa to break up with Jeremy. After this, Jeremy goes back to his hometown for a break. However, Jeremy returns to California when he learns that Melissa is gravely ill with stage 3 cancer. He visits her in the hospital, meets her family, and is moved by her courage and determination to impact others' lives. Jeremy decides to propose to Melissa if she confesses her love for him. After praying and discussing with Jean-Luc, Melissa tells Jeremy she loves him. To demonstrate his commitment, Jeremy takes Melissa to the hospital chapel where he has set up a beautiful display of lights and proposes to her, offering her a Milky Way candy bar as a symbol of their love and future together. Melissa joyfully accepts the proposal. Despite concerns from his parents, Jeremy is fully dedicated to Melissa and their relationship. Jeremy happily accepts a family ring from his mother, Terry, to give to Melissa. Together, Jeremy starts touring with Jean-Luc's band, continuing his passion for music. During a concert, Jeremy announces Melissa's cancer diagnosis to the audience, but stays positive and encourages everyone to pray for her recovery. He asks them to touch Melissa and believe in the power of their prayers. Melissa, showing her courage, bravely shaves her head. Realizing how important it is to be there for Melissa, Jeremy decides to leave college to focus on caring for her. Their relationship quickly grows stronger and they get engaged, despite concerns from Jeremy's parents. They move forward with their wedding plans. At another concert, Jeremy once again asks the audience to pray for Melissa, who has stage 3 cancer. Miraculously, after a hysterectomy that left Melissa saddened because she wanted children, her cancer disappears, surprising the doctors. Jeremy shares this incredible news publicly through a radio interview and at a concert, where he introduces Melissa as living proof of prayer's power. 6 months after their wedding, Jeremy and Melissa go on their honeymoon. During the trip, Jeremy begins writing a song. However, shortly after they return, Melissa feels sick again and is rushed to the hospital. They receive heartbreaking news that her cancer has returned, spreading quickly with almost no chance for treatment. Back home, they find all their wedding gifts unopened, and Melissa breaks down crying. To lift her spirits, Jeremy takes her to the place where he first saw her and reaffirms his love. Melissa tells Jeremy that the stars that shine the brightest burn out the fastest and asks him to promise to find love again after she's gone. Jeremy refuses to accept this and remains hopeful for her recovery. Melissa's condition worsens dramatically and she is rushed to the hospital once more. In what seems to be her final moments, she asks Jeremy to play the song he wrote for her during their honeymoon. Unexpectedly, Melissa wakes up in the middle of the night, feeling no pain and believing she has been miraculously healed by God. However, her health monitors begin to beep intensely and she soon passes away, surrounded by her loved ones, including Jeremy, her sister, and her parents. Tom, her father, arrives at the hospital to find Jeremy lying on the floor next to Melissa's room. He and Jean-Luc help Jeremy leave the hospital and return home after Melissa's funeral. Back home, Jeremy feels lost. He had prayed for his brother Josh to be born healthy and for Melissa's healing. Now, unsure of what to do with his newfound faith, he feels overwhelmed. His father tries to comfort him by saying that life is filled with uncertainty and that disappointments give life meaning. He also expresses his deep love for his family and how they make his life complete. Filled with sorrow and anger, Jeremy stands in the rain, questioning God's actions. He returns home and takes out his frustration by smashing his guitar. Just as he is about to throw it away, he finds pages from Melissa's journal hidden inside it, along with a note. In the note, Melissa recounts the moment she fell in love with Jeremy and reminds him that miracles happen for a reason as part of God's plan. She comforts Jeremy, telling him that she is now safe in God's arms and encourages him to continue playing music with his guitar. 2 years later, Jeremy's music career has taken off and he is now a well-known Christian artist. At a huge concert, he shares the story of Melissa's life, how she passed away with faith and grace, and how she reached heaven. He performs a song called I Still Believe, which is dedicated to Melissa and the journey they went through together. In the audience is a woman named Adrienne, who attended the concert where Jeremy asked everyone to pray for Melissa. She tells him that she too had lost someone, and that seeing Melissa's story and Jeremy's message of hope helped her overcome her anger and despair. Adrienne tells Jeremy how Melissa's story changed her life, and Jeremy thanks her for sharing this with him. As the night ends, Jeremy looks at the stars and speaks to Melissa, expressing his love and promising to continue sharing her story. The movie ends with a note explaining the impact of Jeremy's music and how I Still Believe became a hit. It also mentions that his albums have sold millions of copies. The note adds that Jeremy and Adrienne got married in 2003 and now have 3 children. They keep sharing Melissa's story, spreading her message of faith and hope, and reminding people about the power of miracles and God's love. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe. Your support is appreciated. Remember, Jesus loves you. Have a blessed day, and see you next time.